And the memory of those we lost is being channeled for change. An active shooter alert system could have saved Layla's life and can save countless lives in the future.
It's going to hit home again. We just need to keep those people in our prayers and be supportive of them.
When you think about what happened on that day, we always want to just keep them in our hearts and our prayers and never forget the suffering and what they went through.
We needed a focus point where people could go and grieve, somewhere they could heal, somewhere that they could remember.
There's been a lot of healing taking place, and anytime I just think about our own journey with healing and with Anderson, just have to pause to acknowledge that. I know it's all of us that were affected that day were just affected so differently.
Grief doesn't go away. It can lessen and you can learn coping skills. The most important message is give yourself permission to feel what you need to feel.
The ability for the community to come together and support each other is really a hallmark of the Permian Basin, and one that I'm very proud to be part of.
August 31st, 2019. It's been 4 years since our community was changed forever. Since that day, we've shown what it means to be Permian Basin strong.
Exactly, and tonight we reflect back on that tragic day and bring you the stories that we covered following those tragic events of August 31st, 2019.
We've got helicopters en route so they can divert patients.
Headquarters, if you can, get the chief to get on the radio on the news media and tell everybody to shut down Midland. Go, 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 don't wait.
We hear a bam, 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 and it was so heavy and so close that you could feel it. I happened to look over my shoulder to the left, and at that moment, the gold car was rolling up. He was fidgety and crazy, and his eyes were crazy, and he had a gun. And the gun was coming up, and it was coming at me, and he was looking at his gun, and he was looking at me, and the gun came up like this, and I mean, it was, I freaked out. There's a gun, he's got a gun! In that moment, I knew that it was for me. I knew he was trying. He was going to try to kill me. My thoughts went immediately to my grandson, and I just thought, no way. And I just started swerving and changing and shifting and honking like crazy. She drifted just enough, and I shot right through that gap. And at that moment, there were 3 more shots. And Gold Car came around and followed me, and he was gaining, and he was on my back panel, and I thought, oh my gosh, what if he shoots through the door and my grandson's in the back seat? He was right there. I don't know how he didn't hit me. There were now 7 people that didn't have the same outcome. And that is, I have no words. I'm so sad for their families.
Headquarters advise the ER, troopers en route to the ER. Advise the ER. Thanks. Give them an escort. Whoever's there can give them an escort. Give that trooper an escort. Battalion 1 to dispatch.
Hello?
Hello, is this John?
I think I'm faring better than some. I was headed towards West Odessa. I got on the interstate. I had business 20. It looked like there was a wreck right there at the entrance ramp. I noticed that the EMS personnel that were getting out, there was an ambulance that had just pulled up and a fire truck. And as they got out, they were putting on body armor, that was kind of weird to me. Got on the interstate. It seemed like every, mile to half a mile, there was a vehicle, either a semi. I saw, I think, 4 semis. I saw blood coming out of the door, from underneath the door. It's one of those things that sneaks up on you because you don't know you're in the middle of it until you're in the middle of it. And then what do? It was something that I've never experienced before.
Thank you, John. I'm glad to hear that you and your family are safe, and thank you so much for telling us your story.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
It was a quiet, calm Saturday afternoon in West Texas.
My family and I, we were just enjoying a day outside swimming and came in and had about 50 missed texts and I don't know how many missed calls.
I was like looking for a car to hide behind because I didn't want to be a sitting duck.
That afternoon took a traumatic turn.
I found a stranger, got a ride, and got out of here.
Do we have an active shooter? We have an active shooter on the interstate. There's another gunshot victim at 125 mile marker.
A lone gunman opening fire on innocent people all across town. Police say it went on for more than an hour.
You never think it's going to happen to you.
Among those injured, a 45-year-old from Round Rock and this 17-month-old from Odessa. The deceased victims ranging in age from just 15 to 57.
It's a different kind of fear, especially when you have your friends and family and loved ones with you.
The fear from that Saturday afternoon cutting deep for the people of the Permian Basin, but now uniting the community in a way unexpected.
Now more than ever, we need to be cohesive as a community and be on each other's side.
I think overall people are shocked, but they're encouraged as well. They know that the community is strong. The outpouring of support, the prayers that we've seen, the hope that we have, all of those things are good signs, and so people are they're mourning, but they're encouraged as well.
Encouraged after an attack ripped the community apart, but thankful for the chance to return to that quiet and calm West Texas mood as a stronger, more unified community.
We're thankful. I know that's really simple, but it's the emotion that everyone feels at this time is just an overflowing of thankfulness.
In the heat and sun of West Texas, investigators work outside the theater where a day of violence came to an end.
Horrible. Horrible. Makes me wonder what could have possibly been going through his mind.
But as the reminders of the crimes are towed away, Billy Hale looks on.
It's a shame, man. It's a shame. Society's coming to this.
Wondering how this happened again, another mass shooting.
When something like this happens, you know, of course the question across everybody's mind is why. And you know, as a parent, it bothers you not to have an answer for your kids. Got a lot of questions.
Thomas Carney doesn't have an answer either, but looking at this, he knows something is wrong. Something has to be wrong.
It hasn't even been a month, really, from El Paso. El Paso's still recovering. They're going to be recovering for a long time.
And then next thing I know, everyone was on the ground, and it was shooting.
So now parents like Mark Vega warn their kids of this, and 17-year-old Desiree lived his nightmare.
Months ago, I told her it might even happen at your work, and look what happened. It happened here.
From where the hijacked mail truck came to rest, to the spot it was taken and its driver killed.
We put bears and flowers because we felt sorry for her family.
Nevaeh Flores shares this day of questions.
I can't even process it. It's scary to think about. It's scary to think about, like, it could have been us.
Questions we can't seem to answer.
Well, it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know why either. I mean, I guess if we knew why, we could solve the problem. You know what I mean? But I think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
As more Americans are killed.
This scares me. This scares me, you know? So few answers. It's a horrible thing. Prayers go out to the family. The families involved, affected. God bless West Texas, man. God bless West Texas.
Pain is not always visible. But in Midland and Odessa today, it was not hard to find.
My heart is broken. And I just give my condolences to the family and to all the victims.
People are hurting from Saturday's tragic shooting spree.
We're just here as part of the community to pay respects to the victims, both deceased and that were injured.
Hurting because 7 lives are now represented by 7 crosses.
We're devastated, especially after what happened in El Paso, and you don't expect anything to happen here. But this is proof that it can happen anywhere, unfortunately.
It can, and it did. And it's why Rafael Hernandez found himself here, mourning his 15-year-old niece, Layla.
She was just an innocent child that, some crazy man has taken from us.
He says their family is shattered.
How
could they be anything else without her?
We're just hurting so bad right now.
But they have to keep going. There's no other choice.
I don't know if we ever got to get through it. It's a piece of our heart that has been taken from us. So I don't know if you can ever replace that.
Just one of 7 that people came here to grieve.
We're here for each other. We're here for each other, and we count on each other, support each other.
But those that know this place best know this is not the end.
It's an incident that will not be forgotten, but I don't think this will define Odessa. I think the people that come later on this afternoon, when they get out of work, or in the evening tonight, when it brings people together, that'll define Odessa.
Though that brings little relief right now for this city and these families in pain.
Not really, no, I don't think there's any comfort towards this. But I just hope that she can be in a better hands now and rest in peace.
In dark times,
you look down on those flowers and you see how perfect you are.
A little bit of light goes a long way.
Without prayer and God, we have nothing.
For Lenore Fisher today in Odessa, that light was flowers and messages of faith. They shared these in the face of darkness.
We're just very fortunate that our families weren't involved, but my heart hurts for them. Just got to pray for a lot of people.
At this vigil, people gathered to pay respects.
Love ya.
And honor the victims. Some with shirts.
It's about serving the community, helping those right now who are in need, proving that, we are Permian Basin strong.
Some thinking about the message they send.
This is such a wonderful community, and to have a tragedy like this hit, it's affected every one of us, from the arts community to the law enforcement community to our community leaders. I think we're all numb, and we're all looking for some kind of constructive, positive message to send out about who we are, but also for ourselves, that this will not define us. It's knocked us down, but it's not going to define us.
We were more than best friends. We thought of each other as sisters.
Yasmin Natera came for Layla Hernandez, one of those killed.
That was my other half. We always thought of each other as peanut butter and jelly.
They just celebrated her quinceañera months ago, which is why she will not remember her for her death. Instead, she'll celebrate how Layla lived.
Her kindness, the happiness she spread to everyone, even the people she didn't know, because that's how she was. And that's how she would want the world to be. She did not deserve that, but it just happened.
On this dark day in Odessa.
And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.
But by gathering together, these people are determined to be a light.
We will get through this tragedy. We will show our beloved state and nation what it means to be Permian Basin strong.
Things are tough, but we'll get through it together. Odessa strong.
With the stroke of a pen.
We thank you for laying your lives down on the line to protect and serve.
And word by word.
We can never understand what it's like to put our lives on the line.
But Carly Eaton has an understanding better than most.
My whole family was worried. We had people calling, texting, just trying to figure out where he was and if he was okay. And so it really did bring that home.
That's because her 25-year-old brother is a Midland police officer.
For him, it's a daily thing. And I think that when things like this happen, That's when only people think about it, but for people who have family in law enforcement, it's a daily struggle, a daily worry.
That's why she knows thank you after thank you goes a long ways.
I know that families like mine are very thankful for it.
Being able to put words down on paper and handing it to those who were involved is just incredibly effective.
Effective, like all first responders were during the shooting.
They work 24/7 to make sure that their communities are safe as possible.
So, while it's still possible to say thank you,
Our beloved people are now safe thanks to you.
students like Eaton will do it every chance they get.
We appreciate everything that you do. Thank you. From Carly.
In a cemetery, it's common to be buried next to a total stranger. Alonzo Johnson knows almost everyone here. He's buried them.
I remember every one of them. If I was asked to take them to them, I would know where to go. Because it's like, once I do it, it's like they're there with me all the time.
The pain of Saturday's mass shooting in this town weighs even on those surrounded by death.
At times we do services that, it's tragic. And sometimes it's uncalled for, just like this one. We're gonna have to end up burying some of these people, and they lost their lives for nothing.
My thoughts immediately go to, well, gosh, it could be anybody. It could be my family, friends.
Odessa native Ben Haddon remembers hearing the news and feeling compelled to help.
This sort of jolt to my heart that just said, it was sort of God speaking to me, I felt.
He posted on Facebook Sunday, offering his family's extra plot at Sunset Memorial Gardens.
It would be something that he would probably do himself if he were still alive.
Right next to his dad, who died of a rare thyroid cancer in 2010.
It would be something that would take one less thing off of their plate.
Taking care of someone he's never met.
We thought that this would be a gesture of us just sort of wrapping our arms and hugging the community of Odessa.
As long as we're here, we take care of them.
Taking care of someone he's never met either.
Maybe it's just good a family that lost their loved ones.
A round of applause for Officer James Santana as he made his way out of the hospital this afternoon. The crowd that welcomed the officer back into the community.
Man, what a great turnout we had today by the whole staff, the police force, and this community, just to tell one of the heroes good luck, and we hope a speedy recovery.
Officer Santana had been in the hospital since Saturday after being shot during the final gun battle that took place at Synergy.
James is a great guy. I've personally known him for over 8 years now, and I'm just so glad he's okay.
Officer Santana is the first of the 3 officers injured in Saturday's deadly rampage to be released. He was followed by a collection of gifts, a show of appreciation from those thankful for the officer's self-sacrifice to duty. Once loaded up and ready to depart, the officer took a moment to address the community he's sworn to serve. A commitment he's thoroughly kept up with.
Thank you for all the support. Very appreciated.
Welcome to the Family Resiliency Center. We don't actually call this a waiting room, we call it the living room, because we don't want it to feel like a doctor's office. We want people to come and feel comfortable from the minute they walk in.
This is a place of love, a place of hope, and a place of community. The need for its existence was so apparent last year after that horrific day.
The group's name is Rise Permian Basin, and so they were kind of the group that started the conversation.
That conversation turned into reality on February 1st of this year when Chandra and Denise moved into the building and started working full-time. Even though this center is still fairly new, its walls already breathe of a bond that surpasses West Texas.
After the shooting in Santa Fe, one of the families of one of the boys who was killed sponsored this activity. And so they actually hand painted all of these hearts and sent us cards.
And the city of Aurora, Colorado sent a paper wreath, each crease folded so intentionally. The center is offering support groups, painting classes, cooking sessions, yoga workouts, and really anything else you'd like. They want to help anyone and everyone that lives in the Permian Basin. Even our own Jolina Okazaki paints for this center.
It's to help people kind of get into their creative outlet. I think mental health is something that a lot of people don't really think about because, of course, it's like this scar, this wound that you don't see. And so I think, if I'm able to help at least one person, I think it's completely worth it.
And their services come free because of their grant through the Victim of Crimes Act.
This is huge for me. I've said for a long time, I work to pay the bills and I help people to soothe my soul, and I get to do both here, and it's, I'm gonna get really emotional, hold on. Woo! It's just the coolest thing.
The staff that work here know just how hard this anniversary will be on some.
Anniversaries are commonly very difficult for people.
And so they're here to help any way they can. That door is open today and any day after it.
It could have been any one of us. And who hasn't thought of that when we first got the news?
I can't believe this just happened to us.
We could hear some sirens going off, but we didn't think a lot about it at the time,
I heard what sounded like gunshots, and with it being West Texas, I didn't think much of it.
Next thing you know, I did hear the dispatch eventually.
Hector County 911, what's the address of your emergency? Hector County 911.
Troopers pulled over and fire engines and trucks here and from Midland to Odessa to come, so you could see the response of the city. So it was amazing, but yet scary because you're like, how bad is this?
I just remember it was very uncertain driving this way.
No one knew on this warm August day, whether it was family time or R&R time, it'd be the last time for some, but for others, a time to fight for life.
And I walked into a jam-packed ER.
It was chaotic, but it was a controlled chaos.
We had a number of gunshot wounds. We did okay with blood products, and even with that many people coming in, we still were able to meet the need.
We knew we were getting 14 patients, so when I got here, the first step was we just had to make sure we had enough available beds to put them in.
I have to keep myself calm and be a leader and set an example.
Brittany Craig is a charge nurse.
I just tried to be as calm as I could.
Patient after patient, it was a race against time.
We didn't know how many we were getting, and I think that was the scariest part because we didn't know when it was going to stop. Differences were put aside. The way that the hospital just came together as one, it was just amazing.
It was kind of surreal, you don't think it's going to actually hit you.
No one knew when they would be prepared, but the switch to all those practice drills and training had turned on like a light bulb.
It wasn't a matter of if, but when. It's our turn to have to deal with the horrors of a mass shooting. I hope we're up to the task.
That's when our mass casualty training came into play. We never think we're going to actually use it.
But sometimes it can feel like a lot.
One thing that I will always remember is our police department. His name is Terry Mercer. And I walked out the ambulance bay and he says, "No, you need to go back inside." And I said, "I need a minute." And I started crying. And I said, this is real. And he stood in front of me, and not only was he protecting the patients that were coming in, but also his family, and that was us. I just needed that minute to go outside and cry because we're human.
An experience that shows even through tragedy, teamwork shines through.
I will be using this also as an example of remember how we all responded and to know be prepared.
August 31st, 2019, a day that would change their lives forever, but also a day when many of them were saved.
We've got the people who are trained to do that, and we're happy to take care of those patients.
When a crisis hits, our Texans, our community will come together.
Every single person that was there that day is still working with us today because that's what we want to do.
Adversity makes you stronger, and challenges bring you closer together.
The tragedy that happened here 3 years ago had lingering effects on victims and their families, and healing is still taking place, including for Anderson Davis and her family.
The last 3 years, there's been a lot of healing taking place, and anytime I just think about our own journey with healing and with Anderson over the last 3 years, you know, I just have to pause to acknowledge that. I know all of us that were affected that day were just affected so differently, and I know healing looks so different for each one of us and our families and us as individuals.
For the Davis family, that means leaning on multiple different things.
Our faith in God has been a huge part of that. Our belief in community has been a huge part of that. And just the choice that we've made as a family to just love, to pay forward all of the love that we've been shown through this healing process.
Anderson and her brother were young when the shooting happened, but it's something being talked about as they get older.
Anderson and her twin brother Rhett, that were both in the car with us that day, I mean, obviously had no clue what was actually happening, but through the last couple of years, it's been really amazing to just see how their understanding of that day's events, but also the healing process has really grown as they've grown.
And although the Davis family and the community are still processing this tragedy, it's important to focus on the good.
They know that evil's out there, but we have to be looking for the joy. And if you can't find that joy, be that joy for someone else.
And one of those things is paying forward and giving back.
We challenge people, go out through the day and just commit to a random act of kindness. Hold a door open, smile at someone, buy the coffee of the person in front of you, because spreading that hope, spreading that joy, spreading that light is how we're going to continue to heal each day.
And don't forget, if you are someone who needs help coping with the trauma of the anniversary, the Family Resiliency Center is still available for services today.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. And before we go tonight, we want to honor the 7 victims that lost their lives. May we never forget them and continue to mourn along with their families.
And what you're about to see is a tribute to them and how the community will always keep saying their names.